coming to Yantif, it's Lag Gomer, and also Mr. Gomez has yahrzeit for his father. Your father's name? Yamindan Ben Shamash and Aliyah. Everybody's welcome to help themselves to breakfast, balance sponsor. Everybody's welcome to stay for the open base medrash. Anybody who wants to sponsor the open base medrash, to Rabbi Brenner. Today is Lag Gomer. What are we commemorating? So everybody knows that Rabbi Akiva's students, 12 pairs, 24,000 students died. Also, we know it's the day of the yahrzeit of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, who was the top student of Rabbi Akiva. Now, interesting, according to what I said, it's 24,000. The Medrash says only 300 people died. What that means is just something to maybe for another discussion. But the main reason is that 24,000 students of Rabbi Akiva died. Now, fascinating, the Omer period in the temple times was really a time of joy, but something changed. And according to the Aruch HaShulchan, Rabbi Yechiel Epstein, this took place in the Middle Ages. And there was a change that took place because there were the Crusades. The most dangerous time for Jews was after Passover. The blood libels were rife throughout Europe, and Jews were being killed in that particular time. And therefore, he connects the Omer period with the persecution, the pogroms that took place in the time of the Gaonim. And basically speaking, since we came such a perilous time, they had to find a justification for the Omer period. And by the way, the Aruch HaShulchan quotes the Chok Yaakov that mentions the opinion of Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri that the maximum time somebody spends in Gehenna in purgatory is between Pesach and Shavuos. So it also points to a judgment period. This time between Pesach and Shavuos is considered a judgment period, according to Rabbi Epstein. According to this, the rabbis in the Middle Ages felt that the time of the Omer was a harsh, despite the Torah calling it a celebration. And the anchor was the death of Rabbi Akiva's student. And the logic was that if the students of Rabbi Akiva died specifically during these days are a day of judgment, and that's why it's become a time of mourning for the students of Rabbi Akiva. But the specific impetus was the killing of the Jews, the blood libels of the Middle Ages. That's the impetus of that. So here you have the Rabbi Akiva students dying, and according to Rabbi Sharia Gaon, why did they die? They died in religious persecution. They were the army of Bar Kochba. Remember, this is the time the Bar Kochba revolt. Rabbi Akiva declared Bar Kochba to be Mashiach, to be the Messiah. So according to Rabbi Sharia Gaon, and you can check it out, he says these students died in battle. But the Gemara seems to say they died of something else. They died of Askara disease. Rav Henkin calls Askara a code word for getting killed by the Romans. That's what he says. So there's no contradiction. Rav Sharia Gaon is saying the reason why they died, and the Gemara is saying how they died. Maybe we had a crop or whatever the situation was. So, and interesting, there's another reason why we commemorate Lag Gomer is Rav Shimon Bar Yochai's yahrzeit. Fascinating. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was the great student of Rabbi Akiva who perpetuated Judaism after the 24,000 students of Rabbi Akiva passed away. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai is mentioned on the 33rd page. It's Lag Gomer, the 33rd day of the Omer. It's mentioned the story from going into a cave where he was fleeing from the Roman persecution. It's on the 33rd page of the Gemara Shabbos, and it's the 33rd time that his name is mentioned in the Gemara. So there's a connection between 33, Lag Gomer, and Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Finally, I conclude, if we say the students of Rabbi Akiva ceased dying on this day, why is it such a celebration? Do we celebrate somebody that stops dying? It's all surrounded by death. Why are we commemorating such a joyous day? And the answer is given because Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was a continuation. In other words, when death befell 24,000 students, Rabbi Akiva didn't despair. He said, we go ahead, we forge, we start anew. It's a rejuvenation. So we're commemorating the fact that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, on this day, we commemorate the fact that we continue. We didn't fall into despair. A Jew never despairs. That's the lesson of Lag Gomer. A Jew never despairs. There's always hope. Even when things seem bleak, we always have hope. Have a good Yantif.